so, which, by the way, did you look on YouTube for the video?
No.
Okay. I think it's up. So if you want to watch the video, if you want to watch it, I'll watch content. So here's homework for tonight. Quick shout out to Ohm, my dude from the Rock Wall. He was very, as name he was very surprised that I had a YouTube, which I was surprised that he was surprised. He's sophomore, junior over in Dublin. Loves to argue with me while I'm working at the Rock Wall. So it's fun. But I told him to watch my stuff, so I'll see if he's actually watching. I was like, oh, you should check out my High School Math 2 videos if you want to check out anything. We're doing proofs. So, Ansel. Ansel is tired of doing these flowchart proofs, which a lot of us hit that point a long time ago. And because in Math 1, through whatever you've done before, Pearson relatively, we talked about two-column proofs already. That's what we're going to formalize today. So technically in the curriculum, we don't get there till today, but that's why we're essentially going to just breeze right through 33, not write anything down, and not do anything. So in a flowchart proof, we start with what we know. We break down into things that we can say because of what we know, based off reasons that we wrote off to the sides or in the arms or wherever. And it wasn't very clean, right? Flowchart proof isn't all that clean. So we could take this, and we already know this, but we're all kind of at different levels depending on whether you had Hall or me for Math 1. We could take this and clean it up in a two-column proof. So, while I go tell them to get working, have a look at 734. We want to take the problem from 33, what we would have written as a flowchart, and turn it into a two-column proof.
Beautiful.
When their voices are still high. They
Oh,
can hit those
you're gonna hit that crack.
I know. Ah!
Guys, get back to work.
Ow! Honestly.
Okay.
On my leg muscle.
So we're doing fine.
So for real, guys.
Terrible.
It's a real
Nice to read. Yep. Ryan, stop.
Yeah, shush. Yeah, we're being chilling.
So what are we doing? Like, what are you doing in this moment? You've been in my room for about 5 minutes now. The book is not open, and you have no notes out. So, what are we doing? Genuinely, I'm curious about that. When you walk down here, what in your brain is like, all right, I'm going to fill in the blank. What were you doing? Were you thinking I'm going to math class? So what were you thinking? Okay, so what do you like in this case for math? So we're going to be down here for math class. We go into that point, right? Look over here. Should be doing that. You're in high school. It's hard. Because they won't tell you. They won't ask you. They won't, like, depending on the teacher, you don't do it, and you don't know when the test comes. And there's points, right? You get 70%, you get 70%.
Oh wait, no, that's the next step. Okay, no.
The problem is, how do you know if you can or can't do something if you don't try it? You gotta try it. Let me try to put the shake up on the other board.
Definition of parallel at my means. What would it be then for the first step? Because that's exactly what the second step is. Why would you just write the same step twice?
Well, you can just say standard number 2.
So none of, well, okay, so if you're talking about reasons can be the same. Like, because you wouldn't have to split up every single statement.
Oh wait, I know.
As we get comfortable doing these, you might repeat reasons. You would never repeat statements. So you might repeat reasons, but statements should all be unique.
I those two though, really good.
Now, it seems redundant, but always start with your given, because when we're working with proofs, it's essentially we're not allowed to do anything that hasn't been clearly stated or justified based off our current parameters. Right, so we are operating with TU-VW as a parallelogram. We state that as a given. Then, for definition of a parallelogram, what do you think should go in the second statement box? Yeah?
UV is parallel to T.
UV parallel to T. We got it up here, so UV parallel TW. Who switched my markers?
Oh.
Yeah, I realized that I did. I just did TU parallel to WB for some reason. I just mixed them up and didn't realize that there's two sets of parallel lines.
So,
Please stop.
this is being very formal with every statement needs its own step. Now, sometimes, depending on your teacher, and I'm not that nitpicky about it, you could say UV parallel to TW and, or ampersand or whatever, TU parallel to VW, because, what's this reasoning in box 3? Same thing. But you can actually just do that. The tick marks, the ditto marks. If you don't want to write it out again, you can just do the ditto marks. B equal to C. Ryan, how do we get B equal to C? I'm going to start using cards because I like never do with you guys.
Cards.
Like random calling. And you can always pass, but or you can phone a friend if you want to ask somebody close.
Mr. Hall uses die.
I should do that.
And I don't like this notation, so thank you for saying that. If this was me, I would be saying the measure of angle B is equal to the measure of angle C. But because in their diagram, they have A in the angle and B, and they're using lowercase as angles, uppercase as points. So how can we justify that? Sorry, not. Yeah, BC, right? Yep, BC's first. Yeah, BC are corresponding, right? So we can just say corresponding angles congruent. If the reason, Colin, is that lines are parallel then alternate interior angles are congruent, what would our statement for that be?
I think it'd be angle A is congruent to angle B.
Yep, angle A is congruent to B. So notice they're going to start you guys off with giving you some bits and pieces of it. Eventually, we want you to be able to do the whole thing on your own. And substitution. Well, what were we even trying to prove here?
That angle.
Yeah? What?
Yeah, we're
Sorry.
trying to do the opposite angles of parallel.
Okay, so angle C is congruent to angle A
Substitution.
because we've shown B in both of these. Now, your like transitive property would be more like if A is bigger than B and B is bigger than C, then A must be bigger than C because of the relationship. You could maybe argue that transitive will work for equal angles, but we just normally say substitution. Questions? Got it pretty easy, right? They start you off easy. So let's look a bit more difficult. They tell you PM is the perpendicular bisector of AD. Now, when you guys do this on your paper, by the way, all I'm looking for with your proofwriting, T-chart. Just statement reason. You don't have to box everything out, especially if you're using line paper, graph paper. Just make it clean. Give this a shot. I'll be really nice and help you with one.
Whoa.
Wow. Whoa.
ideally 2 and 3 could be switched around and it wouldn't matter, but because they've given you the reasons, excuse me, here it does matter, but we could have done bisector and then perpendicular. Proofs or the books? The books? No, if you want to see next year's book, I have it.
What do you mean, like next year's class?
Like not math 3, I think it's
Like math 2.
like
I
these
don't have a
specific
physical math
copies.
3 book.
Like
But
these
no,
specific
the
copies what
next
he's asking,
year,
like are we gonna
class
keep
of
these
math 2
books?
will use these
No,
books.
we're not. That's why it has a date.
What are you actually
The
asking?
next math sequence.
Yes, they will be using these books.
Well,
That's
I
too bad.
might as well
This
make
year's
mine.
math one
It's
is
sort of
in
right here.
Is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah, that's supposed to be. It's really lame, like, because I've had this experience with old textbooks where you open it up and like stuff is filled in. It is actually somewhat like, oh, it doesn't matter if I answer this, or you wonder like, oh, is this right? Like, did they know what they were talking about? So, definition of perpendicular. I really only think it's cheating if you know it's right. Chris, what should we fill in for the statement where they're using being perpendicular?
I know bisector is not perpendicular.
Well, what does it mean to be perpendicular?
Perpendicular means that these slopes are opposite and that they go through with right angles on all sides.
That. The right angles on both sides. So what we want to be defining here is that angle PMA is congruent to angle PMB. That's a terrible B. And, thank you, Ryan, equals 90 degrees. So what we're really trying to prove here is that PA and PB are equal, right?
I don't know how to do it.
Ethan, I'm also using these to jump step by step to each different people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ethan, what do we use for definition of bisector?
The line segment AM is congruent to the line segment BM or MB or whatever.
Yeah, if you're worried about bowel movements, you can use MB. But I was very confused when I was visiting my family, and my niece would kill me if she knew that I was telling the story. But she was very, very young, and she was going through chemo at the time, and chemo messes up your whole body. And she hadn't had a BM in a long time. I had no idea what BM meant. So my family was talking like, oh, I guess I'm a BM. She needs to have a BM. What's a BM? And they're like, how do you not know this?
I don't know.
Right. See, I felt like I should educate you guys.
Wait,
There you go.
Is it a vowel?
Bowel movement. Yeah, it's number 2.
Okay. What are they
I don't know. I think she was like self-conscious or something. But she's awesome now. Now we're totally blank. Ava. It's on the stack. Ava, then Via, then Gunner, then Ellen, then John. But so Jenny will be next from. So Ava, what's your next one?
And then you can say that PM is congruent to MP because of the reflexive property.
It is congruent to PM.
That's okay.
The same thing.
It is the same thing.
Yeah. What would we say next? What is the statement or reason, or what are you talking about?
I can just. I don't know.
Help her out, Jenny.
Triangle PMA is congruent to triangle PNB
Mm-hmm.
because of side angles. Then CPCTC.
And really, by the way, just so we say it again, this is technically side angle side triangle congruence. Like we are abbreviating, we're shorthanding. If given plenty of time, ACT, SAT, those sort of situations, always be explicitly like overly clear. And then yeah, I think Jenny just said we've proven what we want to. Ooh,
We don't need to hear about
unit circle proofs.
I hate those songs.
All right, any questions here?
Okay, do you want us to always write like congruent triangles?
You can write CPCTC.
Okay.
You can literally write CPCTC. I think they only have that shown up there to show symbol notation to make sure people understand, and probably ELL, like the students where English is not their first language.
Okay.
It can be a pen that doesn't click if you need,
That would be
because that's an option.
Wait, what do you mean?
Or I can give you a pen, or I can find a pen that clicks
I
quiet.
was just asking if
That's
you-
what you need to look
if you
for,
could
is a
just
pen that clicks quiet.
instead of like the actual symbol.
All right, so in our theorem graphic organizers, which I gave you guys blank copies of, but we don't have to formally like. I'm really kind of stuck on a fence with this. I'm hoping that, being that we're like the pretty advanced class and everything else, that we can kind of put these in the back of our head. We're going to review these formally all together at some point, but we would be adding these in. So what we saw in 34 is what? What did we prove?
Notes, do we need to put them in the graphic organizer?
I mean, no. As long as you know what we proved and like that, we can use it in the future. And Colin, what did we prove here?
We proved that opposite angles in a parallelogram are congruent.
Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So now that we've proven it, we can use it. We've also now just proven what?
That if you have a line that's perpendicular bisector of another line, then any point on the bisector is equidistant from the two endpoints.
Yeah, the any point. So P could be here, it could be here, it could be there. If it's on the perpendicular bisector, it is equidistant from the endpoints. Well,
You learned how to draw.
you took math 1 in fall, didn't you?
No.
we all.
Me, Jenny,
Jenny,
DA.
and-
I can't remember. I don't remember what activity you're talking about, but that's because I made that stuff like 3 years ago.
No, because
the
of the
perpendicular forming the
Oh,
perpendicular.
making the
Yeah,
yeah.
I did that
Art
live.
stuff.
That was
That was annoying.
You can also
We didn't watch it.
do this with folding.
All
Alright, like folding paper to reflect things.
That would have been nice. No.
Alright, so for each pair of triangles below, copy the diagram onto your paper, so story paper on top, and just jot them down. Then write a 2-column proof demonstrating that the triangles are in fact congruent.
Do we have to trace it? Should we trace it?
I mean, if you want it to look right, I would trace it because I'm a terrible drawer, but
I'm good at drawing like shapes without actual like things that are good at drawing. Like, Jenny, you're not.
you're just gonna glue that in your notes or something, or tape it or something.
Jenny.
We were trying to prove this. Or is this given?
That's given.
Oh,
You're trying to prove the
okay.
triangle's congruent. Order will matter. Just saying that to say order will matter here. Remarkably still.
What you so confident? How is that even physically possible?
I believe
You drink it and it spills.
yes, I know. Throw labels on there. 'Cause otherwise your proof isn't going to make any sense.
That C is the midpoint of all. Given.
Now, please make sure you're operating a C. I would label what we know based off C being the midpoint of BD so you don't accidentally assume it's the midpoint of AE. Now, hopefully it is, but that is not given. Remember, you cannot use anything that you like haven't explicitly gotten under these parameters.
Oh.
Are you stuck or are you just laughing?
No, I just put the
You're not there. Are you stuck
laughing
or are you just
now.
laughing?
You wouldn't see the midpoint of
Yeah, you would put that.
That's
So you
Oh,
would
yeah.
start.
Yeah.
You would start with that's the only thing given to you, right?
No.
Oh, and parallel lines.
Parallel lines.
So you would state that as well and put given. And you don't have to write given twice.
Wait, if we're putting parallel lines,
I never thought of
if we're putting parallel lines, then write the most way to my proof. What do I do?
Just like put arrows to add it in or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Don't stress,
I
but
understand.
yeah, we should. For you to be able to use that as part of your proof, like them being parallel, you need it in there.
So now it's gonna go 1, 3, 2.
All right. So that you don't yell at me, the image is up on the TV.
Oh, that's
And you still.
Oh, so those are answers.
Yeah, I think you're the answer. You know, like,
Oh, thanks for the answer.
Wait, what is
Look.
it?
is the midpoint of PD.
No, A is the midpoint of PD.
No, yeah, simple mistake on the TV. It doesn't say C is the midpoint. It just says is the midpoint of PD.
No, that means A.
Yeah, that's the digital textbook. So occasionally there's some discrepancy.
I got an idea.
A is the midpoint of B.
Paper in white, in white color. Stop.
That is not funny.
So,
I think it is.
Now we know that A and B is parallel to B.
Yes. Why are you saying this? Should we keep going if we're done?
I'm only writing givens.
give it.
Yeah, if you're done, move on to part B, or you can move on to the next question.
I just
Mm.
finished
What?
I need to do part B, so I'm doing part B. I am slowly.
That's why I blame her.
Congruent because it involves sides. Angle is your similarity.
Can we use the hinge theorem?
I forgot about the hinge theorem.
I do, but I don't use it.
If a door has a fixed opening and there's a leg, well, this is hard to show with your body. If it has a fixed opening and it opens, that the distance between the opening is the same. If this leg and this leg are the same, and the angle is fixed, that distance is this. Or if this distance and the leg are the same, the angles then end up the same. So it's called a hinge theorem. Why imagine opening a door. So I should draw this. Imagine a door frame, right? You open the door and create a distance. Let's call it Z. Given another door with the same leg lengths, if it has the same Z, then these angles of the two different doors will be equal. Because if the doors are the same size and the distance here is the same size, the angles have to be equal. Conversely, if the angles that the doors are open at are the same, the distance will be the same.
Wait a minute. So with that,
And we also
wait,
know
so with
immediately
that, can we prove that this thing
we
was
can show that if-
Oh wait, but what?
But no, we don't.
What would that
I was gonna say that that two sides are gonna be equal to both sides.
We're trying to find out.
And in hinge theorem, you don't, the two legs don't have to be equal. So that's where you have to like let yourself imagine. The door could be smaller or bigger than the frame.
Yeah, but in order to
The thing is, what angle
side
side
Actually,
side
that's always says.
Angle side side.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because angle side side
No,
is
no,
No, because that's a bad word.
We even talked about that.
But it's angle side
No, doesn't work.
side angle.
Hey, what can I use, or what can be my statement for reason definition of midpoint? What can be my statement?
Yeah.
Ethan?
BC is congruent to CD.
BC, before Christ, is congruent to compact discs.
That's beautiful. Before Christ is congruent with compact.
Yeah, you kids even know what those are anymore.
What, CD?
Yeah. Who has bought a CD in the last year?
I don't. I
Really?
don't buy CDs.
Okay, impressive.
I just have one. I don't buy CDs, but my mom is like.
Owen. No, Gunnar, you were next. Gunnar, what should I do next? What do you got that I don't have up there? Yeah. Always.
Don't know.
Oh, and you, what do you got that I don't know?
Let me see the work because I think I did mine in a different order. Okay. So BC is well, what I did is that you know the parallel part. So we know that angle B is congruent to angle D because of alternate interior angles.
Can I say anything else under the same reason?
A is congruent to E. Angle A is congruent to angle E.
Why'd you say, look at this, this is cool.
Oh,
E.
E, crap.
You said before you said,
You are a pain.
this is cool.
Stop.
This is also why I started work like using their smart software stuff because then I can change everything. Eraser size and all that. Alternate interior, right? We said
Yeah.
inside of the parallel set.
Yes.
Alternate interior angles, and technically, this is what it would be: alternate interior angles congruent or congruence. Okay, Jenny, your card's actually up now, as opposed to just helping out, tagging in. Now I'm shuffling, so if you come up again and you adjustment, sorry.
Jenny gets to go next. Also.
So Jenny, what else do you have that I don't have?
Oh.
Or what can we now say? We've got parallel sides, congruent angles.
Okay, we're on 8, right?
Yes.
Vertical angles for measuring angles. ACB is congruent to measured angle ECB.
ACB, DCB, or DC?
ECD. Right? Oh my gosh.
ECB. Yeah, as long as C's in the middle. Yeah, right. Vertical angles congruent. Okay. That's congruent to that. That's congruent to that. That's congruent to that. Now, what can we say? Ryan?
Angle, similar.
Yeah. Is that what we're trying to prove?
Nope.
But we also have a side too. So,
So,
so if it's similar and you have a side, then it's congruent.
what reason do we use that?
I don't know.
We have all of our angles, right? We related congruent, congruent, congruent. So we've got 3 sets of congruent angles. We can prove similar triangles at this point, but that's not what we're trying to prove. We're trying to prove congruent. You have to use a side.
Can you also do side
We
angle?
just
Side.
use crispy past the amount.
Use side angle.
Wait,
Side
oh,
angle.
that's
Side
so
angle.
bad.
We just use crispy
Oh.
past the two, so we not.
Congruent to these sides, and you have to share sides.
Wait. Hey, chill out. I got a question that I actually have to process, so I need to hear it.
Well, I found that they were congruent by side angle side, but I think I did mine different.
What other side did you have?
I had BC and DC. They're congruent.
Well, we had, so that's one set of congruent sides. Do you have another set of congruent sides?
Oh wait, they're just parallel, not congruent. Okay.
Ah, see, we don't know that they're congruent, but now that we know that the triangles are congruent, we know that the sides are congruent. But we don't know that before we know the triangle. It's like the chicken and the egg, guys. So these proofs get complicated with what am I allowed to use right now. Right, Ryan? Just checking if you're halfway paying attention. So what order, this is also where people get real screwed up and get super angry when they miss things. What order does my second triangle need to be in? Because that matters.
ECD.
ECD, right? Not DCE.
A, B, C, D.
Questions? Statement.
You just use crispy past between two snowy mountains.
You're fun.
That's
We've already discussed this, so we're not doing this anymore. Again, this is more for like on-level sophomores.
So we don't do B?
Oh, sorry, my
Yeah,
bad. I forgot.
I wanted to do B. It's good. It's a good
Sweet, let me clear ink.
It's a fun proof. Just kidding. There's no such thing.
Well, okay, nerd is kind of a compliment. So
No, I
You know what
think
other-
Tangent Proofs are okay, fine.
I told you guys the whole like what other word is 4 letters other than nerd? Boss.
Or B.
That's
Or
B.
Yeah, that's what Gunnar just said. And I
That's
agree with
3
him.
letters. Also eggs. Eggs, or
All right, where do we start?
You start with GH is congruent to MN.
GH. Oh, because that's given. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark it.
Oh yeah. See, I did it good.
Oh,
That looks
It's a G. We all know it is. There is no C in the diagram. There is not.
All right, using cards. Chris, where do I go from there?
Angle GK is congruent to
Angle.
Side GK is congruent to side MP. I can't English today.
What's English?
Cannot this is the English.
What's the reason under that?
Given.
Also given since it's in the diagram. What else?
Angle of angle P is congruent
Jenny?
to angle.
Or fine, finish it.
The measure of angle P is congruent to the measure of angle K, and they're both 90-degree angles.
Doesn't matter if it helps yet. It's given. We might as well put it down there. All right, we got side, angle. Can't use that in that order.
Side angle 5.
No.
We don't have that order yet. Chris?
Could you use Pythagorean theorem to prove that what other length would be equal? If x equals x and well technically if a equals a and c equals c, then a plus b would have to be the same for those two.
Okay, interesting. So Pythagorean. Now, there's a theorem that goes back to the fact that we know the Pythagorean theorem, and we know. Not quite. Because we couldn't actually use distance units. We don't have coordinates, right? What if I told you we can just answer this?
I would.
Like we're just done. Like
Oh, H-top.
Oh, my
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Yes, we forgot, Jenny. Ha ha ha.
It's a right triangle, that's why.
with right triangles.
Let's just call it.
You can actually use side angle
You were wrong.
because if you know the hypotenuses are the same and you know the legs are the same, the Pythagorean theorem would work us back to the other legs having to be the same. So hypotenuse, leg. And again, that's actually proving our congruence. So you would want to put congruence.
No, do 739.
Now do 739.
Which is the homework.
What? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want? Hold on. We have like 6-7 minutes. Do you want to just move on into 714 and just like it's really quick, and then I think so if we keep moving, we'll have more time to just work and flex tomorrow. Otherwise, you guys can use the rest of the time for homework, and we'll just do 714 tomorrow.
Homework.
I think-
Let's do homework. Solid. I don't have time tonight.
Doesn't help.
Well, I mean, I do have time, but I don't have
We'll
enough
have
time.
time tomorrow.
Go for a solid
Okay, work on your homework for
That's
next
all
time.
right.
No,
I stole it.
That's what you do with me. You steal me.
I'm proud of myself. I'm getting better at writing.
Or this.